Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 16th February 2024. In this video, let us generate bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly income trade and weekly income trade with the help of NeoStock supply demand zone strategy builder. Even before that, a small announcement please. If this is your first visit to our channel, please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You can access all the training lessons from a playlist, Supply Demand Zone Price Action course. I have provided the link to this playlist in this YouTube video description. If you click on the link, you will get into this page. After that, scroll down to the bottom of this page. There, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training videos are available in an order. So please go through all these videos one by one and strengthen our skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this YouTube video description. Please join there. Each time when we release a video, we will provide the update in that channel so that it will be helpful to you. Now let us get into report generation for monthly income trade and weekly income trade. Let us generate bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. In monthly income trade, lower time frame zone, LTF zone is daily. So our entry time frame should be daily. Because it is a bullish trade setup, our entry zone should be demand zone. And in the parameter bullish or bearish trade setup on daily time frame, let us select bullish. Now let us generate the report. Now all these stocks are currently supporting bullish trades. I will keep on scrolling this list. I will be giving you only few seconds time. Whichever the stock you want to refer, please pause the video. After that, you can further proceed. So these 104 stocks are filtered. Because the list is very big and we don't trade pierced zones, let us filter the pierced zones. Any fresh zones, select the test count and rejected count as 0. This time I am not setting test count to 0. Instead, I am rejecting only pierced zones. So on daily time frame, I am setting pierced count to 0 and 0. See, till yesterday's report, we looked for only fresh zones. Because some people are interested on the high liquidity zones because they might have been already tested. So to help them, I don't want to filter those zones. But we never trade on pierced zones, so I'm setting pierced count 0. Let us see how much the list is reduced. Now all these demand zones are not pierced. If you look into the column PIE indicates pierced. In this column, all the demand zones should have a 0 value. Supply zones might be pierced, but demand zones should not be. All demand zones are not pierced. So now the list is reduced to 90, a small but anyway, let me scroll down for our reference purpose. Because any of your stock you are having interest, you can look for that. But what is the filter we are going to set from this list? Reward. We want a minimum 5% reward. So for that we have a parameter, minimum range. This indicates reward. This is a distal line to distal line range. That is nothing but reward. So on daily time frame, I am setting the value 5. Only stocks having reward 5% and above only will be displayed. Now all these stocks are having 5% reward. Now the list is reduced. Let me scroll down. 53 stocks are there. Still it is a big list. Because the list is big, what we do, let us try to find out of these stocks how many stocks are near to our daily demand zone. at least 1% near. So for that we have a parameter, maximum price to reach the zone, because we selected the zone as demand zone. So it is maximum price percent to reach demand zone, daily demand zone. So in daily time frame, let me set the value 1. 1 indicates within 1% level, whatever the stocks are there. See, now 6 stocks are filtered. Out of these 6, a few high liquidity zones also there. Because all these days, for the last 10 days, when we are generating the reports, we've been filtering high liquidity zones. Because some people are having interest on the high liquidity zone. So if anybody don't want tested zones, even if it is high liquidity zone, anyway you are able to see the number here, the demand zone. If it is not 0, just reject from this list. It is easy for you to reject. But now those people who are having interest on the high liquidity zones, they can plan trades in these zones, already tested zones. There are some zones already, fresh zones, test count 0, 0, 0. But only thing is, pierced zones are not there. That is what we eliminated. So from now onwards, I will not be filtering based on the test count. I will be filtering based on the pierced count. So that these reports will satisfy both the, both the people's requirements. Those who want high liquidity zones, those who want only fresh zones. Because list is small, it is easy for you to filter. Okay, now this is 1% level. What about 2% level? Let us see. Close to. But before that, is there any zone moving towards the demand zone? No, all these zones are currently moving either towards the supply zone or all-time high. But because they are within 1% level, there is a possibility on Monday one of these stocks may turn back and get into the demand zone, because the demand zone pending orders might push the prices up. That possibility is there. Now let me go back. Now I will increase the percent to maximum price percent to reach the zone from 1% to 2%. That means within 2%, how many stocks are there? Now the list is increased to 8 stocks. Now let me increase the percent to 3%. Within 3%, how many stocks are there? Changing 2% to 3%. Let us filter. Now 12 stocks are there in this list. From this 12, any stock is moving towards the demand zone, either all-time high or supply zones only. So definitely the price direction has to change and get into the zone to get an entry. Those who want fresh zones, look for the test count as 0 only. Even 100% fresh zones, if you want, even set rejection count also 0. Look for only those stocks. See here, Nestle Industry, already one rejection is there. That means already an entry is there in the zone. But rejection count advantage is it indicates there is a strong order flow is there in that zone. That is one price action clue for us. Because those who look for strong order flows and trade based on that, this rejection count will be helpful to them. Even IGL also, the zone test count is 0, but rejection count is there. So that means this zone is already tested. Okay, now this is what is the level? 3% level. Now let us go to 4% and within 4% to the zone, how many stocks are there? Now I am changing 3% to 4%. Let me filter. Now 14 stocks. Is there any stock moving towards the demand zone? No, all are to the supply zones or towards the all-time high. Now within 5%, the last report, that is only maximum, because we set a minimum reward of 5%. So now I am changing 4% to 5%. So that means we are filtering the stocks within 5% to the demand zone. So these 20 stocks are filtered. Now you got a big list. But see here, none of the stocks are moving towards the demand zone. All are moving either to all-time high or towards the supply zones. So if you want to get an entry in one of these stocks, they have to change the price direction on Monday or maybe Tuesday and come to your zone and give an entry. But that's not easy because all these stocks are bullish stocks. So again, it's the trend, they should change the price direction. Sometimes it happens. Maybe there could be a sudden profit booking on that particular stock. So all of a sudden what happens? Some 4% or 5% or 3%, the stock will fall down on that day. If you get an entry, immediately we have to catch that stock. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Now let us look for a bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So LTF zone is daily, entry zone should be supply zone because it is bearish trade setup. In bullish or bearish trade setup parameter and daily time frame, we are selecting bearish. Now let me filter. Now two stocks are there. Yesterday we didn't find any stocks which are supporting bearish trade setup, but today we identified two stocks. In that UPL is moving towards the supply zone and Lalpat Lab is already there inside the demand zone. Price closed inside the demand zone. But it is pierced, already pierced, so we don't trade pierced zone. So just ignore this Lalpat Lab. Because this is only two stocks, I didn't add any further filters. But remember, pierced zones we don't trade. So leave this stock. Look for UPL. Moreover, UPL is moving towards the supply zone. What is the current price? 490.90 paise. Say 491, close to 491. But what is our entry for the proximal type 1 entry in this zone? This is the supply zone. Zone low we have to take 426. My God. Almost 36 rupees difference is there. 6% difference is there. That means the stock is within 6% of the supply zone. Okay, now this is about a bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Now let us generate for weekly income trade. So the first report in weekly income trade should be bullish trade setup. In weekly income trade, our LTF, lower time frame zone is 75 minutes. So I am selecting entry zone as 75 minutes because it is a bullish trade setup, selecting entry zone as a demand zone. And in bullish or bearish trade setup parameter, this time selecting in 75 minutes bullish. Let us filter. Now again we get a big list. Because all the stocks, including Nifty, majority of the stocks are near all-time high. That's why majority of these stocks from F&O segment and even indices, they are close to the, the trend is uptrend and they are currently supporting bullish trade setup. So let me scroll down for our reference purpose without any filters. We have generated this list. So 73 stocks are filtered. From this list, we need to eliminate pierced zones. Tested zones I am keeping for the high liquidity point of view. So pierced count should be set to test count, rejection count, pierced count. I have to set pierced count to at 75 minutes. I have to set 0, 0, minimum 0, maximum 0. Now let us filter the stocks. Now all these stocks are not having any pierced count for the demand zones. Let me scroll down. Now 60 stocks are there. All the 60 stocks currently supporting bullish trade setup and doesn't have a pierced count. A pierced zones. But some zones are tested. Some zones are high liquidity zones. So which high liquidity zone? You can look into the column zone. If you look into the column zone, the DZ and SZ are normal zones. The S underscore DZ and S underscore DZ and R underscore SZ are high liquidity zones. There are two more, one is counter trend related, that is a TCP underscore, that is also high liquidity, and C underscore is also high liquidity. But in 75 minutes time frame, S underscore DZ and R underscore SZ are more powerful. Daily 75 minutes and even below time frames. Now let us add the filters. The first filter, we will look for the zones at least that gives minimum 3% reward, because this is a WIT trade. From 75 minutes demand zone to 75 minutes supply zone, at least 3% reward should be there. So for that, in D2D range, that is a minimum range, let me set a 75 minutes time frame, the value as 3. Now let's filter the stocks. See, now the list is reduced to 24 only. All these 24 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup, not pierced, and they are giving a minimum reward of 3%. 3% or above. Okay, for immediate trade on Monday, are there any stocks near to the demand zone? Let us filter. But remember this 24. If your favorite stock is there, analyze that. But we will check any stocks near demand zone. For that, in the maximum price percent to reach the zone, I am setting on 75 minutes, the value as 1, within 1% to the 75 minutes demand zone. No stocks are there within 1%. What about within 2%? The next, now I am changing 1% to 2%, maximum price to reach the zone. Now these 4 stocks are filtered. And IOC is moving towards the 75 minutes demand zone. And this is a high liquidity demand zone. And moreover, it is a fresh zone. All these factors are positive factors for us. But you have to fine tune the zone, as I explained in lesson 16 in training program. You need to fine tune the zone. I'm not talking about the entry point of view here. Here I'm talking about you checking the quality of the price structure inside the zone. Up to 5 minutes, if the price structures are good, then you can plan a trade. Otherwise, there are higher chances that the zone will be violated. If the price structures inside the zone are not good, it indicates a weak zone. We never trade in the weak zones. Okay, now let us see 3% level. Within 3% level, how many stocks are there? So I'm changing 2% to 3% at 75 minutes level. Let us filter. Now 12 stocks are filtered. Power grid is moving towards the demand zone. IOC already we identified within the 2% level. Only these 2 stocks only currently moving towards the demand zone. It doesn't mean the other stocks doesn't work. In case of any profit booking related reasons, if they change the direction tomorrow, you may get an entry immediately. Okay. Now the final report, bearish trade setup. First, weekly income trade. Now I am selecting entry time frame as 75 minutes. That is our LTF zone. And entry zone should be supply zone, because it is bearish trade setup. We take entry on the supply zone. And in bullish or bearish trade setup parameter, at 75 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Let us filter. Now only these 5 stocks are filtered. Out of these 5, one stock is a Piast, Lalpat Labs. Let me filter that even if it is. Don't want to create unnecessarily confusion. So 75 minutes, I'm setting a Piast count to 0. Now 4 stocks are filtered instead of 5. Bank of Baroda is moving towards the supply zone, that is the resistance supply zone. Polylab is moving towards the C underscore SZ, is a fresh zone. Okay, these are the 4 stocks currently supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.